Okay. Number 3, adaptation is defined with respect to local environmental conditions like heat, cold, rainfall, competitors, and herbivores. Is that true or is that false?
It's true.
Group 7, where are you?
Oh, there.
Where? Oh, you are group 7.
It's true.
You think it's true, and why do you think it's true?
Adaptation to the weather, to the conditions, something like that.
Something like that? Well, let's see. True, you were right. So each habitat is distinct, and therefore selection pressures, like I just gave you in that example, or the strength of certain selection pressures will be different in different habitats. In the one I just talked about, sun. Yeah? Different in the north than it is in the south, and so evolutionary biology would tell us that's why we see different physical characteristics even in humans in different environments. Now, with the minute or two we have left, I'd like you to think about what you know already about Minnesota plants and North Carolina plants. Now, in Long Island, New York, there is an area that has, within this one area, it has those same micro environments, or those same environmental differences like we see in Minnesota and North Carolina, but in one area. We call it a microclimate. So there are areas where there's these low dips, and so it's more like a North Carolina climate because it doesn't freeze as much. There's areas on the top of these hills where it's more like a Minnesota climate and it's cold. Now within that area, we do see the striped clover, but guess what? We see both of them in the same area in that Long Island area. And what I'd like you to hypothesize on based on what we've discussed now is which ones would you see in the low dips and which ones would you see on the top of hills. So read through that very quickly and we'll answer the last couple of questions. Well, I kind of gave it away. Where's group 8? 8? Oh, you guys have been active. That's good. What do you think, group 8?
Well, I guess there's more white striped clover in the lowland of the Long Island, while there's like less in the higher part of the Long Island.
Excellent. Prediction 1, more striped clover would be found in the depressions where it does not freeze. Prediction 2, more plain clover will be found on the hills where it freezes more often and where there are fewer herbivores. Now, if this were your homework, this would be your assignment. I would ask you to write a paragraph that describes the distribution of clover in the microclimates of Long Island using the terms variation, adaptation, natural selection, and evolution. Be sure to fully describe each of these terms in your detailed paragraph. And if I were to write the paragraph, here's how I would write it. Within the population of white clovers along the coast of North Carolina, there are 2 forms, striped and plain. These forms present variation in the population. Having a stripe and producing cyanide is an adaptation in areas where it does not freeze and there are many herbivores. Not producing cyanide is an adaptation in areas where it freezes. By the process of natural selection, individuals best suited to their environment will survive and reproduce. Natural selection of some individuals over others over time results in a genetic change in the population, call this evolution, which leads to better adaptations. Okay, now I'd like you to look at this, even though this isn't your homework, when you copy the problem and read it, because in your homework problem, you will be asked to understand these and to synthesize these concepts into your response. It will be on a different set of organisms, but the ideas will be the same. Okay? Any questions? All right, thanks you guys. It was fun. Appreciate it. Did everybody sign the roll?